I hate to cut away from Randy there because he's always vibing, but we are back. I'm with Sam now.
Hey,
What up, dude?
what's up, man?
Dude, I don't know. I guess we're gonna watch some cool games right now.
Absolutely. We got round 2 for you here at this final July AGE Open with two heroes that have been on top of the metagame for months. This is Tale as Old as Time.
Mm-hmm.
We are sick of these heroes so much. The Levia, I think it is. Levia Mirror. It's like, ugh.
Levia and Levia.
Yeah, how many times have we seen this, huh?
They're coming at each other. It should be kind of cool. I guess they got some heat going on. It seems like LSS was like, what if Levia was good?
And we're going to find out the answer to that question. We got Connor Davenport versus Angel Benitez, both on Levia, the Shadowborn Abomination. Let's get ready to get into this game.
I'm ready. I'm just excited to see what of these cool new cards that they're doing. I feel like from what I've gathered, the what are they called? Demi hero? Is that what the Demi hero is like an auto include.
Oh yeah,
like,
100%.
You just do that, and I'm glad to see that they're both bringing out the claws here. I think that's correct. I don't know about the Medax situation, but I guess that's also fine choice. It looks like they're coming at each other with a very similar build right now. We've got the old what is the head? Is that a
Scowling flesh
bag?
Yes, sir.
That's pretty vivid.
Absolutely. I mean, the intimidation on the opponent's turn, a defensive intimidate, such a cool mechanic, something that I'm really excited to see how it comes into play in this game. Yeah. The other thing I want to point attention to, with both players having the gambler's gloves here, is there ever going to be a world in which you see a 6 and think to yourself, if you're staring down a 6, like, I'm going to pop these gloves and try to turn that 6 into anything freaking else?
Yeah. I mean, it probably sucks to do that for their turn, but it might have to happen at some point. I'm curious to know if I was gonna say, are they gonna be rolling scabs a lot? And yes.
Oh, and we are just beginning. So here's the thing. So Connor on his turn, he had the turn 1 there on the play, and he just went ahead and arsenal. He didn't want to. So a lot of those cards have an additional cost of banishing cards from your graveyard. Until the graveyard's filled up, you can't do that. So he just went ahead and arsenaled. So Angel, even though he was able to have the tempo with the 1 being rolled up the scab skins, it's kind of like both players had to turn 0 here. Nobody got to get any extra value. Nobody got to set up the graveyard. We're starting from scratch.
Arsenal up and like let's just go. Let's. What if we just start with 5 cards instead? And here we go. Pulping coming off, draw a card, discard. This is going to be a lot of dice rolling, randomness abound. We've got...
that's a Mark of the Beast.
That's a Mark of the Beast.
So that is going to go ahead and get banished instead of going to the graveyard. So we're going to start the blood debt counter for Connor here. This means, though, we are going to have Dominate on this pulping, and if it's defended by less than 2 non-equipment cards, we're having go again. And we're continuing our turn. So a block with the red Dread Screamer, one of the most important cards in this Levia deck, is going to go ahead and be shipped to the graveyard. 3 damage coming across, 37 to Connor's 40. Let's see how the turn continues.
You hate to see Mark of the Beast this early in the game.
Just head to the graveyard.
It's a liability. Anytime you see it in an opening hand, you're just like, no. My timeline just really changed. But it is cool with the whole Demi hero thing. Like I like that you turn the cards face down. That does seem like a very interesting mechanic to allow for Levia to have like a bit more of a chance. But here we go again. They both drawing up these Mark of the Beast turn 1.
Yeah, that Mark of the Beast blocking the Mandible Claw there, and then a Graveling Growl going to finish the chain for Connor. Go ahead and not be blocked, so 7 damage connecting right into Angel's face. We are moving into his turn now, 30 to 40. Both players at 1 blood debt thanks to the Mark of the Beast.
Yeah, pretty rough start for Angel there. Getting the 1 and then just taking 10 to the face, even though he blocked with 2 cards. I'm not sure where Levia is at with, 2-card hands. Like what it feels like she's always a bit card hungry. You do tend to need a few more cards to be able to fuel those multi-attack turns, and of course you need that scab skins rolled. But coming in with the really soft command and conquer right here, no arsenal to threaten, so it's pretty pretty mid.
Yeah, this is just 6 damage, but it is going to go ahead and ship a second 6 attack to the graveyard, which is going to fuel a lot of these later turns for Angel. You need to be able to be banishing 6s to turn off the Blood Debt until you're ready to become Levia consumed. This is going to be respected with the block of another Graveling Growl headed to the graveyard for Connor. Only 3 damage coming across, so Connor's, this is now his second real turn here. 37 to Angel's 29. Starting off with a swing big. This is, like, you talk about good 2-card hands for brutes.
Yeah, that's
this is
the one.
2-card hand for 8 points of damage. We're going to keep an arsenal for later in the game. This is 8 damage that's going to need to be respected unless Angel wants to head on down to 21.
But does he want the Quicken token is the real question.
Yeah, you block that out for A. You can go ahead and grab the Quicken.
He does got that big old chess piece.
Yeah, it's
what's it called?
The Carrion Husk. It's gonna seeing the way that these heroes or these players want to utilize their equipment block, I think is just going to be a huge point of skill expression within this game and just a personalization to how they want to navigate the matchup. Where do you find the window to utilize the intimidation effect off the Scowling Flesh Bag? You know you need to block with the Carrion Husk before you go to 13. You want to make sure you start your turn at least 14 to be able to transform into the Demi Hero, but this is only going to be a block with a yellow Dread Screamer, so that's an attack that doesn't have the 6 power for your Levia triggers, but is a way to get the all critical go again. So we're going to go ahead and take 5 here, going to 24. Let's see how Angel wants to begin his next turn.
Yeah, it seems like you would really want to use the Flesh Bag, which is a weird sentence to say, when they're trying to go for like a big pop-off turn. You know, if you can get that card out of hand, that really is going to make a difference. Like, it could really just stuff a turn that would otherwise be pretty powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. So this Dread Screamer now is going to be 6 with Go Again, banishing all 3 of the cards from Angel's graveyard. So Blood Debt going up to 3. However, it is turned off because of the 2 6s that were banished as well. This is going to be 6 with Go Again. We got 2 more cards and 1 floating. If that's like a Slithering Shadow Pete or a Graveling Growl, one of these cards that are just so overrate for their cost to only cost 1, this would be a pretty dang big swing back after a swing big of Connor's own.
It does put Angel in a weird place, though. Like, his graveyard is empty now. Like, you really need to manage that resource. Like, is he going to be able to get 3 more cards in there before his next turn? Like, doesn't seem likely. So, he is, more than likely going to take Blood Debt damage, which, when he's already sitting at 24, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, and critically, only being able to follow this Dread Screamer up with the Mandible Claw, you're getting to put the Dread Screamer into your graveyard, which begins to fill it up, but you'd like to think that another attack action would have been preferable here to get 2 cards into the graveyard for your later turn. Now, this is only going to set himself up for that 1 card, that all these cards that require 3 cards to be banished, he's not going to be able to get those effects until he gets more cards in the graveyard. So we'll probably see some blocking here from Angel if he wants to try to make that happen. As Connor went ahead and blocked with 3 cards, blocking pretty much all of that damage, we're going to go for a Scabskin roll for Connor here. It is only a 2, so this will be a Boneyard Marauder coming in now for 6.
6, yeah. And just banishes 3, right? Doesn't do anything else.
Yeah.
Classic brute card.
So you see here, the Scabskin roll really was only representing like the 3 damage off the Mandible Claw if he was able to hit. So you always would prefer to get a 4, 5, or a 6, but of the turns to miss, this is not a terrible one for Connor here. As this is going to be blocked by 3 damage coming across, 21 now to Connor's 36.
I do think the one that Angel rolled earlier on was pretty bad, but I do rate that he just didn't crack his gambler's gloves immediately. I think that's something that can happen because you just get flustered, but you really do want to save that for when it's most meaningful.
And here we go. Talk about big turns. Angel going to go ahead and start this one off with the Blood Rush Bellow. We're discarding a swing big. We're drawing 2 more cards. All of our attacks, brute attacks, get +2 for the rest of the turn. So let's see how much damage this Blood Rush Bellow is going to be able to connect with.
Yeah, definitely the card he wants to see when his graveyard is a little thin. So
yeah, let's go ahead and get another card in there, and let's begin to close this life gap a little bit. And both players here, something we didn't mention right off the rip, both these players are sitting right outside that critical 16-player window for the Players' Championship. So every one of these wins is very important here as the players look to punch their ticket to that $3,000 exclusive exclusive event coming up next month. We're going to start the turn off here for Angel with a Mandible Claw. Here we go, talking about when we're using the Scowling Flesh Bag on a Blood Rush Bella's turn. Let's get an Intimidation out of the way right away before any other cards have been used.
That's exactly when you want to be doing it. That's so cool. I really like this card. I love that they did that. I feel like you can't add it to too many cards because it is pretty disruptive. But,
wow. I mean, look at this now. Look at what that Scowling Flesh Bag did. So that blocked for 2, making 3 damage come across on the last turn. But now we just have to pitch our final 2 cards to come in with the Mandible Claw here. That means your Blood Rush Bella's turn is 10 damage.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's not what you want to see. 3 cards for 10 damage. 4 if you count the Blood Rush Bellow. Like,
yeah, definitely rough. I feel like you do have to value that you got the Flesh Bag out of their equipment, because that's just going to happen at some point. But yeah, not great. Especially bad because he didn't get to play a card that banished anything. So you just took some blood damage there as well.
10-point life difference separating.
Blood
debt damage. We're going to go ahead and start off the turn for Connor here with an Art of War. Banishing most likely a 6-power attack, so turning off the Blood Debt for the turn. Drawing 2 cards, don't have to worry about that effect from now on. And a lot of these Levia decks, rather, we're very used to seeing Art of Wars be the +1 and go, +1 and draw. A lot of these Levia decks choose to go again because all they need are 2 big attacks. They're not necessarily going as wide, so you get much more value. So see this Slithering Shadowpede. This is just going to be a 1 for 7 with go again. This is going to buy the husk now. If Angel is able to stay at 14 or higher, he's going to be able to transform into the Demi-Hero at the onset of his end phase next turn. So Connor here going to be wanting to push at least 5 damage to get to the 13 life threshold that is so critical to turn off that ability.
The Art of War Slithering play seems pretty good.
Yeah, the 7 with go again without the problem of the Scab Skins variants. Not bad. But now, what can you do here to continue to push through damage, or is Angel just going to be able to take... He's only at, if his dice is representing correctly, he's at 3 blood debts. So this would only take him down to 15. So this is part of the fun new little sub-game you get to play with Levia. You want to take enough damage so your blood debt can bring you down to 13 without taking too much damage so that you are starting at 13. The Carrion Husk is going to bump up that blood debt now to 4, so you need to just take 1 more damage here, and then we're in range. Then we'll be taking 4 from at least 17, and we'll be able to transform into the Demi-Hero. So Connor, he's playing with these exact same cards. He has all those same figures in his head, but with only the go again being spent off the Shadowpede, it's going to take either a Scabskin's roll to continue this turn much wider, or just 1 more big attack. Yes, he's going to go ahead and think here, and this is going to just be a Diabolic Offering now because he has banished a card with 6 or more power. Instead of being a star and a star in his attack and his defense value, these are 2 6s. So technically this card blocks for 6 this turn, but instead he's just cashing it in for the 6 power attacking.
I've just been looking up how Levia Redeem works because I missed all of that. So the thing is, when blood debt reduces you, so your blood debt has to reduce you to 13 exactly.
But each blood debt, it's 1 at a time. So as long as you,
okay,
so you
so
go take one, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, I was like, that's
no, that'd be crazy. If you just had to find the exact
wild out here.
Yeah,
they're gonna do this.
Yeah.
So based on what you've seen, is consume the move, or is redeem or is it just kind of depends on what your situation?
There are definitely use cases for redeem, just getting the lack of blood debt only going to 8. I know, talking to Ethan Van Sant, he's definitely told me that there are times you want to hit the redeemed. Most decks, and probably most times today, we're going to see Levia get consumed by Plasma Fet just because the card advantage engine, by being able to play a single card from your banished zone every single turn, that's incredibly powerful. The thing is, for Angel here, you are staring down a pretty significant life deficit. So Connor, even though the ability of playing a card at your banished zone is incredibly powerful, it's not as powerful if you've already hit 0 and lost the game.
Yeah.
So we're...
That's true. I do know that about that.
Yeah, so this is for 6. Angel can comfortably here take 3 and go to 15, and then the blood debt is going to trigger at the end of his turn. But the thing is, if he does that, he can't turn off blood debt for the turn. right? So you have to make sure that if that's the play if you know you want to be becoming Blasmafed on this turn, you need to take enough damage that the Blood Debt's going to trigger, but you need to make sure you don't turn off the Blood Debt so that the Blood Debt gets you down to 13. But the question is, does he want to do it at this point? But look, yeah, he's going to go ahead and take the 4, go down to 14.
Wow.
One Blood Debt is going to turn him into Levia consumed, and that he's hopefully going to. He's, I'm sure, hoping to ride that card advantage engine to success for the end of the game.
Yeah, he does have a pummel in his hand, so this could be a turn where he does present some difficult choices and disruption to Connor over there. But with the Art of War thrown in there as well, he's kind of throwing it up to a little bit of fate here, hoping to draw something good.
Yeah, and we're not turning...
And another Art of War.
And we're not becoming Blasmafet this turn because
Yeah.
we've now turned off Blood Debt because that pulping was banished. So there is no Blood Debt going to be taken down at the end of this turn. So it's going to be challenging for Angel on subsequent turns because he is already at 14 to keep himself at this life threshold and not leak a single point of damage. That's going to be the only way he becomes Blasmafet from this point forward. But we do have a Go Again on the Mark of the Beast off of the Art of War, so here's 6 more. Again, this would be turning off Go Again anyway on this, or Blood Debt anyway on this turn because this heads to the Banished Zone right away. So here's 6 with Go Again. Connor at a pretty comfortable 28 here. Got to be thinking about how he wants to close the game out on his next couple turns.
Yeah, it's interesting how that kind of all works against itself. That seems pretty on par for how Levia is been designed. It's a hero that's at odds with itself most of the time. So it's cool that like you have to balance like, well, to do what I normally do, I usually have to try to turn off Blood Debt. But then if I don't turn it off, I can now do this other cool thing. But I feel like doing it at 14 is like not where it's like you want to like hit 13, you know, it's like you want your Blood Debt after all it's said and done to like take you there, but not too much further because it's not a comfortable position to be in.
Yeah, well, the turn you become Blasmafet, you are going to be comfortably able to sit at the 13. I like what you just said about a hero at odds with itself. I think that's incredibly flavorful for Levia. It's a hero at odds with this. It's a woman at odds with the demon, ripping her soul apart from the inside, and we see that literally being kind of actuated in this new demi hero and at the Blood Debt mechanic. I like that.
Yeah,
that's
that's
cool.
why we say just say no to demons.
Connor looking like he's going to say no blocks, but that is going to buy the pummel. Connor with a little laugh there, perhaps not expecting to see such a powerful attack reaction in this flavor of the deck. So that's going to turn it to 10. So talk about that comfortable life deficit. We've now seen that closed by a full 10, and Connor's going to have to discard a card here. So perhaps Angel has found a way to get back into this game in the sense of finding the finding the life deficit reduction.
Yeah, this is tough too because he was holding on to his Blood Rush hand, and that pummel is really gonna make some tough choices for him depending on what's in his hand and what color those cards are, which you can't really tell. But still not. I feel like he's still not feeling too bad. He's got his husk, so he's got that slight advantage on Angel right now, but we are teetering on that edge of chaos of what's Levia gonna do and what's gonna happen with these cards we're about to play here.
Go Again not becoming relevant on the turn because we took the pummel line if we're Angel here. So now shipping back to Connor, he's at 18 to Angel's 14. That 28 been cut dang near by 10, and by near I mean exactly by 10.
Some would say
even by 10. So this is most likely going to be that Blood Rush Bellows turn. Angel at 14, you have to imagine it's going to be challenging, if not impossible, for him to get the Blasmafet off, though he does still have access to his Scowling Flesh Bag. And if we see, this might be this exact same play. Blood Rush Bellows into the Scowling Flesh Bag, except that's not what we're going to see. This is just going to be an endless moss. So we're banishing 3 cards, we're turning off Blood Debt, and we're just straight up coming in for 9.
Yeah, I think he got put in a really bad spot with the pummel discard. He needed that extra card for the resources, just so he wasn't just totally dependent on drawing 2 random cards and having no resources floating. It's not the best position to be in, but he will hit here. His graveyard seems to be pretty healthy with the 6 powers, so...
Now, this is an attack for 9. If we're Angel here, if we have the block in our hand and we wish to do so, we're probably going to be able to stay at 14 right now. And then that means if we don't turn the Blood Debt off, we successfully navigated a tricky situation and put ourselves in in the position to become Blasmafet consumed, staying at 14,
Mm.
because that Blood Rush Bellow is not able to get any use this turn because of that pummel. So this might be a really impressive way to see Angel navigate back through this. He has a Blood Rush Bellow of his own in his hand that we can see. It looks like there's a Swing Big in there, maybe an Endless Maw of his own, yeah. So maybe he's deciding, I just want to throw my Blood Rush Bellows as you know, instead of trying to go for the Blasmafet line here. So he's got a number of options open to him. That's the thing about these new Levia decks is people say they are quite skill expressive and really somewhat challenging to pilot. Because it looks like, here's a line we weren't even talking about. This is going to be an Art of War in response to the Endless Maw.
A defensive Art of War. We hate to see it.
Yeah, so this is going to go ahead and draw 2 more cards. You have to imagine he's upping the block value. Perhaps trying to give himself the best likelihood of blocking the 9 so he doesn't have to take any damage and can become Blasmafet at the end of his next turn. So let's see, did he draw? Now, that's the thing. A lot of Levia cards don't block.
Yeah.
So did he draw enough?
Yeah, even more cards don't block now, which is wild. He does got a pulping. I think he might have to block with his Blood Rush Bellow too, man.
Ooh, if that's a Diabolic Offering in his hand, because he's banished a 6 or more power card, it blocks for 7 right now. Because its defense becomes 6 and then would be for 7. Ooh. So if that is a Diabolic Offering in his hand, which I think it is, that blocks for 7. He has 1 block on his Scabskin Leathers. That would be 8. The question is, does he want to instead put the Scowling Flesh Bag in? It does look like he is going to go ahead and do so. So yes, there it is, the play. That is a Diabolic Offering block for 7. 2 more block off the Scowling Flesh Bag for 9. So we now get to see if Angel doesn't turn off Blood Debt here, he is able to become Blasmafet, Levia consumed from a position that we were saying looked pretty challenging to navigate. So we're going to start off with the Scabskin Leathers here. This has become rather interesting. And we hit the 6!
Ooh, does Connor crack it? Does Connor crack it? No, he's going to let it ride. Because honestly, they never use all 3.
Well, here now, but because if you're Angel, we want to make sure we're not turning off Blood Debt. So this is probably just going to be a couple claws, maybe set up an arsenal, and then we're going to watch the Blood Debt tick down and become Blasmafet consumed here. So, I mean, this has been a really interesting and honestly quite cool showing from Angel here, navigating a life deficit and a kind of interesting little sub game with the Blood Debt and the management, and he's done a really good job.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a Levia stan for a long time. He's tried to make it work in all sorts of metas, so I'm happy he's here now. He's got some new tools and toys to play with, and I don't know. We'll see. I have yet to see someone transform, so I'm excited to see this Blasmafet consummate, and we'll see.
I don't know if any consummation is happening.
We'll do that,
but
consomme is, I think it's like a soup.
Oh, consomme. I see. Like instead of consumed. I like what you're saying. All right, so yes, we're using the action points here because we can't get any go again from the Mandible Claws. So these are just 2 attacks for 3. But Angel, he's going to set himself up with a 5-card hand. Looks like he's got like 6 cards in the Blood Debt zone. So he's at the end of this turn going to go to 13 and have 6 extra cards to work with for the rest of the game. This could be interesting.
So with the consumed, you just play Blood Debt cards from your banish.
You get 1 a turn. And then at the end of the turn, the cards that you have in Blood Debt, that you have left in Blood Debt, just get banished from the top of your deck. But anything you banish for the rest of the game gets banished face down. So you're not able to you're not able to play it, even though it has Blood Debt. So you don't have to, and you don't take Blood Debt, you just lose cards. So you're on a clock in terms of your deck is running out of cards, but we are able to block with cards. And again, kind of like Chain, have an extra bit of cards in the banish zone that we can work with at any time. So we're going to go ahead and go to 13 here from the Blood Debt, which means we're going to be triggering Blasmafet, Levia consumed, and it's the Marvel. My man said, hold my beer, bro.
Of course it is. This guy doesn't play around.
My goodness.
This is his hero. He didn't just come to this last week. And this is really cool. I'm excited to see this play out. I like how they've dealt with this because it seemed like the way they designed Levia, just like it was like she could do some really cool stuff and then she would just die.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, that sucks. It sucks even when you're watching someone do it because sometimes you're just like, oh wow, that was really cool, and then you're just like, oh, I won. Sorry, like I I didn't even know I was about to win the game.
Yeah.
So now we're doing our random banishes. Connor can't be stopped. His blood debt is always turned off. He's just got that healthy graveyard. It's interesting that Angel's navigated all this with like a pretty slim graveyard the whole time, which I think is just shows that, like how he knows to play the hero. I think a lot of the timing of when you play certain attacks and how you build that graveyard is all whoa.
Hold on. Did we just see an endless Moth or 9 just get eaten to the dome? We did, and the reason is Angel's sitting on a nice, juicy Blood Rush Bellow.
Oh god. And
My goodness.
we don't have the flesh bag to stop us now. He does have his husk, so
That's 6 life that we're going to see here. But again, these cards from the Banished Zone, they are brute attacks, so they are going to get the benefit from this Blood Rush Bellows as well.
yeah.
Blood Rush Bellow is only the one. He's not bellowing twice. But can we find the go again? Can we go wide enough here to make that 9 damage worth it?
Ooh, I told you it was just for now. It's for 2.
What?
The
Oh
bellows the bellows continue. He said you liked part 1.
Oh! Yo!
Second verse, same of the first. We're
Oh
getting-
my god, we're drawing. We have a 4-card hand. All of our attack get +4 for the rest of the turn. You can see Connor's got his head in his hand. He's like, I haven't seen this since Nam.
It's like, why didn't I do that?
Oh my goodness. So let's see Angel here. He took 9 damage to the face, but he got 2 blood rushes out of it. So how much damage can he push here? Is it going to come down to Scabskins? This is going to be a Mandible Claw for 7? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, he just
7
does
off the
14
claws.
off his claws, and then he can play something from Banish. And
We
then
got
he
2
can-
floating, and most likely he's got a Dread Screamer in there, right? At least the one in his Banish Zone.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
he's
going to
gotta
also have
this.
go again. How much pitch does he have? How much damage does he throw? I'm losing my mind.
Well, how many 6 powers does he have in his graveyard right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, because
Hopefully
he's got the couple blood rushes. So that is true. That is a way that this could perhaps become a little more interesting. But we've got 2 floating. We don't need to pitch, Angel. What are we doing?
14
We got 7 more.
14 off your weapons is, it's pretty good, as they say in this game. There's a value to paying 4 to do 14 damage.
Yeah, there is a value, I've heard. So this is going to buy the husk. 1 damage coming through, 16. Is Connor going to be able to stay at high enough of a life total to become Plasma Fed himself? It's hard to imagine, but it's going to depend on how wide can Angel go on this double Blood Rush Bellow turn. As Levia consumed the power of the demons, suffusing him entirely. He cannot be stopped.
He has been suffused.
He
I can't tell how much blood debt Connor's rocking right now. It's either like a 4 or a 6, but I can't really. Maybe it is a 6. So that's got to be a little bit concerning. I do think this husk is like putting a lot of work in right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really just took a just destroy you turn down to like a pretty good turn, which Husk is good at doing.
You see Angel checking that Banish Zone. There's that graveyard there. There are those 2 Blood Rush Bellows. There are the 2 Art Wars. You can see a lot of cards that are not going to have the 6 power necessary to turn on something like a Dread Screamer. So you have to imagine he's thinking about those Scabskins just as an insurance package. But
Yeah.
that 2 1s here like really just takes all the steam out of this choo-choo train of doom.
Yeah, I mean, you are right. He does have the Dread Screamer in there, so that's got to be what he's looking for. But if he rolls Scabskins, they both still have Gambler's Gloves. They can both pop it.
That's
So
true.
there is a world where he has to roll a good roll 3 times in a row.
That's tough. That's tough to put your game on.
I mean, they knew what they were doing when they suited up as brutes today.
Connor Davenport was, I think, a 2nd place finish on Reinar at one of our AGE Opens as well. So he's shown a navigation of the brute class himself. As you said, Angel been rocking with Levia for quite some time. But, you have to imagine, because both these players are lovers of the brutes, they're used to rolling some dice, and they've gotten some blessings from the dice gods themselves.
Yeah, but they also know that those dice gods are fickle.
Fickle. Fickle is all hell, brother.
And so they know the fear, but do they succumb to the fear? Are they consumed by that fear, or do they just go for the glory of it all? Angel's gonna think about it for a second. He's got time. This hasn't been a slow game in the slightest. So because he's got what's he got? He's got Graveling Growl. Is there a pulp?
Graveling Growl,
Does he
yeah.
have a Screamer in hand too?
That would change things. How much pitch does he have? He's flicking those cards because he doesn't like us and doesn't want us to be able to tell. It's okay, Angel.
Look at my hands.
It's okay. Let's see. He's going to go ahead and keep thinking this turn through. This is a big one. He took 9, went to 4 to this. That's 2 reckless swings away from doom.
Yep.
So.
Oh, God. What if Connor has 2 reckless swings in his hand? No, that doesn't work. He needs more cards.
No.
What a way to lose. It's always...
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Here
We're
we
rolling
go.
the scabskins.
We
We're
got the
doing it,
scabbings.
folks.
He's like, clear the way.
Let's clear this combat chain. We got to see. He's putting his faith into the laws of chance, and we hit a 2. Does he want to pop the gambler's gloves here? Let's see. We're just going to go ahead and resolve the effect. So, at least now, if we're Angel here, we know a little more about what our turn looks like.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think that is the move. This is the turn to do it. You're not going to have a lot more opportunities to roll scabskins right now. So you go for it now. I think when you roll a 2, you got to be like, well, I think I got lucky. And I'm not going to break my gambler's gloves, because then once you do roll good, Connor's going to come back and make you do it again. So you don't want to push your luck more than you have to.
The question is here, what attack does he want to follow this up with? If it is a Graveling Growl in his hand, that would just be for, like, what, 11? So even if Connor has 2, 3 blocks and the...
But he can only play that if he's banished something, right?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, so I think at this point, and since... Wait, does he banish all things face down now?
From the top of the
From
deck.
the top of the deck
I
he does, but if
think.
he did it from another way, it would be face up.
That's a great question. That's a great question.
We'll look at that. Maybe the chat knows. Taylor says to pop the gloves, coward.
No, it says, yeah, whenever a card is put into your banish zone, turn it face down. But it still hits the graveyard as a 6 with Blood Debt, and then turns face down. So your cards still get to see them.
Gotcha, okay.
For, like,
okay.
Levi's
So
effect for cards like this, yeah.
It still could happen.
Yeah, you still get to see it.
That's, yeah, that's tough. I mean, I feel like you got to just go for the ability to play cards from your banish zone. Like, you probably want to save that Dread Screamer, because that's, he's most likely not going to be able to follow it up with anything. So, but yeah, his graveyard is not the best, which I think, Connor's done a pretty good job at keeping that graveyard nice and healthy and full of 6s. I think once you have that critical mass of non-attacks and instants in there, like, you're like, he's rolling dice, he's banishing random cards, he's just gambling out here right now. But I think he's just gonna play a card.
Is that what you think he's gonna do?
I mean,
Just
well,
play a card?
I would just play a card from my banish, because I feel like you have that card advantage, but I guess maybe he doesn't need it.
Yeah, so I mean, I think at this point, if you're Angel, he's hoping to push as much damage as possible. He's going for the biggest ceiling here. So
okay, I see what he did. So he's hoping to get this Graveling Growl off too.
yeah,
so
exactly. So so there's a lot of misses in this graveyard right now.
Yeah.
There are a lot of misses. He's just playing for the most damage he can possibly have. He's trying to kind of end the game here, put himself in such a driver's seat. We're gonna say he's just at the top 3. That's an Art of War. And the Slithering Shadowpeach. So we did hit. This is going to have Go Again, which means this is coming in for 9 with Go Again. He does have the 1 left to come in for an enormous amount of damage afterwards.
Is it 11 on the Graveling Growl?
It's or for the Graveling Growl, yeah, that's going to be for 11 here.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, this is great. I'm going to play Levia now.
Yeah, look at this. So here's a 9 with Go Again. Now, we were putting you put yourself in a position. If you did miss here, Connor might have been able to become Plasmafet consumed himself. But no, we're just going to take 7, going down to 9. And then here comes the biggin.
Yeah.
We can play it from Banish Zone. Yeah, we can look at our Banish Zone here. We still have the access to play something. Do we have a 1 for 7 in the Banished Zone that we can go ahead and throw out? We have an endless maw because we have enough to pitch for it. So, how about...
Is that 13?
Well, so we still have to banish the 3, right?
We have to banish 3 to get the +3.
So we're going to see. It's at least 6. Getting bumped... It's at least 10.
It's at least minimum 10.
What? Getting word from our producer, and it is confusing me. Gotcha. Wow. Well, I mean, I think if we take a look at this hand here, this was an attack for 13 because we did hit again. There was a no block in Connor Davenport's hand. So we talk about going for the highest ceiling turn possible. The highest ceiling here turned out to be victory. Angel Benitez on the heels of a double Blood Rush Bellow turn, going ahead and closing the game out. 2 critical hits off the graveyard into the banished zone here. Just put himself in the driver's seat, and truly, because of the no block in Connor's hand, took this thing to victory.
Brute Tings, man. Brute Tings. That was, how much did that Dread Screamer come in for?
Dread Screamer was for 9.
So he had 14 off his claws, 13 off the maw.
20, so we're at 27 already.
Oh, my God.
Plus 9 is 36.
Wow. OTK Levia. Let's go. That was...
Dude.
That was tight. I'm glad we brought
Rush.
that on there. Yeah, you did mention that they were both those players outside our top 16, fighting for their life to make it into the Players' Championship. Angel, one step closer to making that, realizing that dream. I'll say it's a dream, even though I won't speak for him that way. But, it's going to be fun.
He's never wanted anything more, he told me.
Anything more in his life. Not even that Powerball for $1 billion last week. He was like, nah, AGE Championship.
Yeah, I'll take that. I want that medal.
Let's take it home. So,
I want that medal.
Speaking of medal, we again, of course, our winner today playing for
Ooh, yeah.
the AG. Get that, cold foil shine on there. AGE Open Championship. They used to wear these to play, but they stopped wearing them when they all started losing when they were wearing them. So there's no more of that flex. But, really, really interesting game. Really cool to see Angel kind of navigate that tricky end game, figuring out, he was just patient.
Yeah.
He knew he had 2 blood rushes left, and the fact that he could, do both of them and just go for that, there's always that luck of Brute. You can't get around it, and I think that's why I like it, and you can't really be mad about it because it can so easily go the other way. You can draw a bunch of stuff. You can have a no block in hand and just die because that's the end of the game. But really cool to see the Demi hero come out, and I don't know. I might have to break my Levia deck back out.
I mean, it looks pretty fun. There's a Levia with a deck that doesn't have any true on hits in the card pool itself. There's not a lot of disruption or a lot of interactivity beyond just powerful overrate attacks, but some of the fun from what I'm seeing is navigating the blood debt, making sure you can hit that 13, not taking quite enough damage to go below 13, making sure you utilize all these things, and then setting yourself up for that powerful end game from the bandage zone, or that powerful end game if you just happen to natty hit the 2 blood rush bell. That also works.
I mean,
that also works.
That is just dodge on gem and then hit both your blood rushes in a turn.
Come on.
If you can do that, you can win most games, my friend. That was a lot of fun. I'm excited to see what Levia does in this current new meta that we're in.
Absolutely. I think we're going to hit a quick 2-minute break here as we're going to go ahead and grab Angel Benitez for a quick winner's interview, get his insights into why he brought the deck, and talk about that crazy Blood Rush turn. And then we will be moving on to round 3 here at the AGE Open, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back, everybody, here to California. I have got the winner of round 2, the Blood Rush bro himself, Angel Benitez. Congratulations on the win, my friend.
Thank you, thank you.
Talk to me a little bit about the deck. Talk to me about why you brought it. Talk to me about that crazy friggin' turn.
Well, I brought Levia because I used to play it a lot before Dustledong. I would say I played it for like a solid couple months, and then I would get destroyed every now and then, especially at the armories, especially by Justin sometimes with Dromai still. But I wanted to just see what I could do, I guess, especially with like the new cards. But it's been so long since I switched to Briar, and then I'm taking what I learned from Briar kind of and just putting it into Levia. I guess just trying to figure out more so like the good pivot turns. I guess that's what I've learned by playing Briar, just like looking for those turns and the execution when to do it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, talking about a pivot turn there, we were talking about how you did a really good job of navigating. You were down like 18 to 28, and I knew in the back of your mind, or we were guessing, that you were really thinking about can I get out of this and still be able to take the blood debt. You were at 14 and still banished I Mark of the Beast or the Art of War. So you were not able to become Plasma Fed on that one turn. I was like, all right, he's gotta find a way to stay at 14 and still find that Blood Debt trigger, but you did so and then rode that to victory. Talk about the double Blood Rush turn, going for the Scab Skins. It's like a perfect example to all you viewers at home about going for the win versus necessarily going for the not lose. And it seemed like by going for the Dread Screamer and trying to hit the 6, trying to find the go again, you were really just trying to close the game out kind of at that point rather than take the more conservative play and just set yourself up for later. Oh, what if I don't hit the 6? Talk about your reasoning going into that turn.
For that turn, there was 13 cards in graveyards. 5 of them were hits, so there's only 5 chances I would hit a 6 out of those 3 cards, I guess. And there was 2 options. One would be just the Dread Screamer into the Endless to close out the game for sure, or it was just play the Endless, and if it hits or not, I just knock them low enough so they don't flip, and they just take the blood debt damage.
Precisely, yeah. And then they're taking the blood debt. But why did you go for the Dread Screamer?
I'm a gambling man most of the time, so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna roll for it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I mean, that's the thing. Some people, they rage against that. They fight against the constraints of the randomness of Brute, but it sounds like you're somebody that kind of enjoys, the will I, won't I, the potential of those dice rolls. That's part of the fun for the class for you, or does that feel like something you have to try to work against to find your wins?
Most of the time I'll just embrace it. I guess start the game, I just roll the dice and I immediately hit the one.
Yep, 100%. And you just gotta find the way from there. But you did so, taking the win here. So talk to me about your tournament run now through all of these AGE Opens. Where were you at the start of the day? How many do you have a sense of how many games you need to win? What your placing needs to be to punch your ticket to the top 16?
I think Justin was telling me I'd have to be somewhere in the top 8.
Okay.
Something like that. I haven't gone to all the events.
Yeah.
I come to a couple whenever I can.
Yeah.
Coming here today though is my first time coming to the store.
Oh yeah, really nice Collective Legion. Shout out to the TO. Well, we're the TO, but shout out to Adam, the manager of Collective Legion, for letting us be here. The owner. Really nice store. Everybody should come on through next year because this is the last one.
Yeah.
Can't come this year. We're almost out of here. We got people like Angel taking W's left and right. Anything else you want to say about the hero, about Dust Till Dawn? Any people you want to shout out before you get off the mic?
Not really anything in particular.
Yeah. All right. Well, Angel, congratulations on the win. Best of luck in the rest of the tournament. You're 2-0. You need just a couple more wins, 2, 3, 4 more wins to punch your ticket in top 8. And then we got eyes set firmly on the Players' Championship in a month. So we will be back in just about looks like there's about 8 minutes left on the round timer. So we're going to take a quick break, let the players finish up the round, let the casters take a moment to get a little water, and then we will be back for round 3 here of the July AGE Open. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
Later.